Hello, it's nice to have you join us. You're watching News at 5 on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The federal government has arraigned 9 suspects for their alleged involvement in the killing in Yelwata community of Benue State, which left at least 150 indigents dead. The Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, led the prosecution team to arraign the suspects on a 57-count charge before Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of the Federal High Court, Abuja. However, they pleaded not guilty to the charges. The Federal University of Lafia is working on how to train young persons on leadership and governance in the 21st century in order to chart the way forward for Nigeria's sustainable development. With the launch of its Center for Leadership Studies and maiden discussion on effective leadership and governance as a tool for sustainable development, the Vice-Chancellor notes that the focus is on laying a solid foundation for the youth. Our correspondent Halima Gayam reports.
Staff, students of the Federal University of Lafia, as well as stakeholders from the academia and beyond, led by the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Shehu Abdulrahman, are here to launch the institution's first leadership series. Spearheaded by its Center for Leadership Studies, the aim is to identify ways to achieve sustainable development in the 21st century using effective leadership and governance as tools. The Vice-Chancellor is proud of the Center for focusing on prepping young people for leadership in the 21st century.
Leadership and governance are the backbone of a nation's development. In the 21st century, effective leadership is crucial for sustainable development. With a very strong voice, say that with effective leadership and good governance, we can achieve sustainable development and have a brighter future for ourselves and the generation yet unborn.
The stage for discussions is set as the guest lecturer, Professor Sani Haruna, who is the former executive vice chairman of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, x-rays how development can be achieved when there is peace, harmony and security.
This Center for Leadership Studies, in fact, is to focus more on our youth, because we say they are the leaders of tomorrow. If they are the leaders of tomorrow, it is today that we're supposed to start training them. It is today that we're supposed to be mentioning to them critical issues in leadership.
Pathways to achieving the needed atmosphere for governance is equally brought to the front burner.
We need leaders that understand the need for more holistic approach in addressing insecurity in Nigeria, in our community, in our local government, in our state.
The institution believes that to have effective leadership and governance, young persons seen as the leaders of tomorrow must be adequately informed about the intricacies, hence the institution's prioritization of the Center for Leadership Studies. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
A former Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mike Ikere, and the former President of the Senate, Senator Ame Ebute, are calling on Nigerians to support the re-election of President Bola Tinubu. Both made the comments in Abuja during the unveiling of the Legacy Support Group for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu's renewed hope for better Nigeria. Mr. Ikere, a former chairman of the Police Service Commission, who was at the event, says President Bola Tinubu is making things flexible in the country by bettering the lives of Nigerians. He adds that continuous criticisms of the government without evidence will not move the country forward. Rather, it will only take the nation backward.
That's our president, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is actually making things a bit flexible for life in this country. We are all here, my journalist brothers, distinguished guests, we are all witness. Many people are confessing. So based on that, we say, okay, let's join hands and follow and support the moving train. Let us just be thinking of better tomorrow, better tomorrow, better tomorrow. Let's just criticizing without genuine evidences and so on. It's drawing the system back. So please, that's actually the picture we want to paint for the whole world to hear, for Nigerians to make up their mind and let's say, let Mr. President continue the good job he's already doing.
As the government of Akwa Ibom State continues to lay claim to the new oil wells discovered offshore, a coalition of civil society organizations under the aegis of Coalition for the Protection of Democracy in Nigeria are appealing to the federal government to intervene in the matter in order to resolve the dispute between Akwa Ibom and Cross River states. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the coordinator of the coalition, Mr. Gabriel Wambu, says the emergence of Delta from Bendel State and Bayelsa from River State were marked by amicable settlement and shared prosperity, which can be replicated between Akwa Ibom and Cross River states. The Attorney General of Akwa Ibom, Mr. Uko Esianudom, while speaking at a session organized in Abuja by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission that aims to allocate the new oil wells in Akwa Ibom State to Cross River, had insisted that the state has all the documents to prove its ownership of the oil wells and will present them at the appropriate time.
We did say that the NBC has some high-ranking officials that are colluding with some government agencies to manipulate the territories of Nigeria so that only one state would have all the oil wells, with the other state from which it was carved out having zero as of now. What they are doing is that the territorial map of Nigeria, in the quest of this evil they are trying to do, they are trying to perpetrate, the territorial boundaries of Nigeria have been altered. They have altered about over 780 hectares by these personal corrupt practices that are trying to perpetrate. They have altered over 780 hectares of Nigerian territorial waters, not because of the ruling of the International Court that we ceded the Bakassi side to Cameroon. No, they decided to alter the map, arrange it in a manner that is going to suit only Akwa Ibom.
Power supply is set to get a major boost across Oyo and neighboring states as the federal government revives the moribund Ikere Gorge Dam for electricity generation and indeed water supply. Now, the Ikere Gorge Dam, a hydroelectric power plant situated in the Ogun axis of Oyo State, has been handed over to private investors, a move aimed at improving electricity supply. At the handover ceremony, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, explained the intervention is part of government's commitment to expand energy access, help stimulate electricity markets, and deepen power sector reforms.
Marked as a hydroelectric power plant over 5 decades ago, the Ikere Gorge Dam, located in Isenyi, Oyo State, has been redundant for several years. Though construction of the project commenced in 1983 under President Shehu Shagari, it was hardly put to use. The road leading to the dam has also been in a state of disrepair for long, confirming the abandoned state of the critical infrastructure. The federal government, through the Ministry of Power, has concessioned the asset to a private investor with a mandate to initially generate 6 megawatts of electricity.
The Ikere Gorge Dam project is more than hydropower concession. It is a strategic intervention that underscores the federal government's unwavering resolve and commitment under the new agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to advance energy access, stimulate electricity market development, deepen power sector reforms, attract private investment, and unlock the vast renewable energy potential in the country.
In line with the recent trend in public partnership, our ministry has been able to attract private sector investment for the development of some identified public-private partnership projects in the water sector. especially in the areas of hydropower project and irrigation development, operation and maintenance in collaboration with other ministries, departments, and agencies.
To avoid mistakes of the past, the project is being executed under the regulatory oversight of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission to monitor compliance with the concession agreement throughout the lifespan of the project.
We ensure that the right regulatory guidance is put in place, transparency in the whole process, and we're able to attract the private sector that have the interests of Nigerians and the people at heart. So we are so grateful that, and this is one of the visions of Mr. President, that government have no business in business. So we have to make we have to create the necessary platform and framework whereby the private sector will have the confidence to invest.
The project signals exciting moments for the agrarian communities surrounding the project.
The concession of this 6 megawatt Ikere hydropower plant. This project represents a beacon of hope for our nation's energy future, and I'm honored to be part of this momentous occasion.
The minister and his entourage later visit Okeho town, also in Ogun, where he commissions a 33 kVA electricity substation to boost power supply.
Our market fundamentals are improving. Our policy environment is clear, and national leadership is committed to creating the conditions for long-term investment and innovation.
Ikere Gorge Dam, with a reservoir capacity of 690 million cubic meters, is an ambitious project designed to generate 37.5 megawatts of electricity, supply water to local communities and Lagos, even as it serves irrigation purposes for commercial agriculture.
When we come back after the break, the federal government disburses 2.45 trillion naira to states for infrastructure and security. That's on Business News. Join us again. Welcome back. The corruption trial of former Nigerian Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison-Madueke continued today in London in the UK, where jurors heard detailed evidence of an extravagant spending trail at a luxury antique store in the capital. Prosecutors told the court that as much as £140,000 was spent in a single day on high-end furniture, bespoke lighting and decorative art allegedly paid for through intermediaries during her time in office. Juliana Olanka reports from London.
Well, the jury has heard that as much as £140,000 was spent in a single day on luxury items in London, including Gucci glass table lamps and even a brass pineapple ornament, during evidence today in the corruption trial of former Nigerian Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison-Madueke. The spending, prosecutors say, took place between 2012 and 2014 at Vincenzo Caffarella, a high-end decorative arts and antiques business on Church Street in St John's Wood. In court, a prosecution witness from the gallery described repeated purchases of Italian furniture, Venetian glass, bespoke lighting and decorative objects, with individual items costing thousands of pounds. The court heard that payments were often made by members of an entourage using multiple bank cards rather than by Alison-Madueke herself. The witness described her as being stylish, discerning and highly knowledgeable about architecture and design, telling the court she never visited the shop alone and never paid personally. Items were sometimes collected by van and delivered to prime London addresses or exported to Nigeria. Prosecutors argue the spending forms part of what they describe as a lavish London lifestyle, allegedly funded through intermediaries during the period covered by the charges. The defence disputes that characterisation, maintaining Alison-Madueke had limited decision-making power as minister and denies any wrongdoing. Alison-Madueke has pleaded not guilty to all 6 charges, 5 counts of bribery and 1 count of conspiracy to commit bribery. Proceedings continue at Southwark Crown Court. Juliana Olayinka reporting for Channels Television News in London.
Back home, the Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun has assured residents of the state of equal distribution of infrastructure development, saying that no section of the state will be developed at the expense of others. He made the promise during the commissioning of the Afon Township Road in Imeko Afon local government area of the state in Ogun West Senatorial District. While announcing more roads infrastructure for action, he however asked residents to take ownership of the road for socio-economic development.
Enthusiastic supporters, residents, associations and traditional rulers welcome Governor Dapo Abiodun to Afon Imeko local government area to commission a revived 2.4-kilometer arterial road linking many agrarian communities, which was last constructed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
I think, Your Excellency, you have done very well. You know, of course, no government can do all the roads that are there, but I can say boldly that, Your Excellency, you have done very well when it comes to the issue of road. And not only road, at the Remo area, an airport, a world-class airport is flying there today. I mean, it's there today.
This road is a clear demonstration of your commitment to inclusive development, and you believe that every community deserves infrastructure. Your Excellency, as we celebrate this milestone, we humbly seek your continued support in all other critical areas of development. Confident that you are a leader, Your Excellency, you are a leader whose words are backed with action.
Speaking on behalf of other traditional rulers from the area, the paramount ruler of Yewa land, Oba Kehinde Olugbele, commends the state government for the gesture, which he believes will improve the well-being of the rural communities.
We are not going anywhere, Your Excellency. We are not here for 8 years, and we are not here for 3 years like our chairman. We'll be here to say in future that there was once a Dapo Abiodun that changed the narrative of the good people of Yewa land and Ogun State. So you don't need to worry yourself. They are all political distraction. All I would just want to encourage you is to continue to do your good work. The one you have started in Yewa land, effort to complete all of them. Congratulations.
Governor Dapo Abiodun seizes the opportunity of the occasion to promise his resolve not to develop a section of the state at the expense of others.
We have completed one section from beginning to the end, from Ato Agbara to Lusada, of the dual carriageway. We have started on the other section. By the way, 20 kilometers dual carriageway interprets to 40 kilometers. Beyond that, we are reconstructing roads all over the nooks and crannies of Yewa land.
The governor was later joined by other dignitaries to unveil the plaque, signaling the official opening of the road to the general public.
Welcome to Business News. The federal government has disbursed a total of 2.45 trillion naira to Nigeria's 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT, to support development, infrastructure development, and bolster security effort. According to internal documents from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, the funds were released between March 2024 and August 2025 under a special intervention program aimed at addressing critical gaps in infrastructure and supporting security operations at the subnational level. Now, the intervention program was financed through non-oil revenue savings, reflecting government's efforts to ease fiscal pressures on state administrations and accelerate project execution at the grassroots. Deep-sea piracy incidents in Nigeria's territorial waters have fallen to near zero since 2022, reflecting the impact of strengthened maritime security measures and increased international cooperation. Chairman of Stars Investment Company Limited, Mr. Greg Ogbefun, attributed the decline to sustained government efforts to secure the country's deep-sea routes, noting that improved surveillance and coordinated enforcement have deterred pirate activity.
there's a structure in place, both on land and at sea, that is ensure that we're in this situation. But if that's not maintained, then it's a matter of time we go back to where we're going to. So the basic thing is to ensure that the structure in place is adequately maintained, the operators are adequately motivated and monitored, and then it's a big selling point for the country, even before the whole world. Yeah, the government should be coming.
The solution to Nigeria's unreliable electricity supply and frequent grid collapses lies in attracting private sector investment through PPPs, or public-private partnerships. And that is according to the former head of the PPP division at the Federal Ministry of Finance, Professor George Nwagu. Professor Nwagu emphasized that adjusting existing contracts and agreements is critical to make the power sector more appealing to private investors. He also stressed that Nigeria should pursue an optimal energy mix to ensure sustainable and reliable electricity for households and even businesses.
There's a lot of inefficiency in the system, and we need to also look at those inefficiencies and remove them. The first one, I was talking about the merit order of dispatch. And so it simply means that when the system operator is dispatching power, that they should dispatch the cheapest available source of power. You know, you will find, and that, so the cheapest one is usually the hydro, then before the thermals come in, and so forth. So you find that this is not done, you know. So and so the weighted average cost of capital of power is still very high. So if that basic rule, for instance, was followed, I think it would drop the cost of the cost of power.
The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, CPPE, has issued a policy brief urging the federal government to adopt a comprehensive farm price stabilization and farmer income protection framework as a critical step toward achieving sustainable food security here in Nigeria. The policy document highlights the urgent need to balance affordable food prices for consumers with stable incomes for farmers and agricultural investors. According to the policy brief, recent government efforts have successfully lowered food prices, offering relief to households. But then the sharp drop in key agricultural commodity prices has had serious unintended consequences for producers and investors in the sector. The CPPE adds that farmers and agribusinesses are suffering significant losses, undermining production incentives and threatening long-term food security goals. And Nigeria's crude oil exports are expected to fall by around 225,000 barrels per day in February as the Bonga FPSO undergoes a scheduled turnaround maintenance. The Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited, SNEPCO, operator of the deepwater Bonga field, confirmed the maintenance program in a statement, noting that the turnaround activity has already begun and is likely to last until March, when normal output is expected to resume. The maintenance is described as a statutory integrity assurance exercise aimed at extending the facility's operational life by another 15 years, ensuring safer and more efficient operations while reducing unplanned production disruptions in the future. And that's news at 5. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.